Hi guys, welcome back to Trade Manza's weekly series, the stock market recap. It seems like Nifty has been watching our videos too, as it is following our levels very nicely. As discussed in last week's videos, we said Nifty would find support somewhere close to 16,800 or 16,700. And as we can see in the daily time frame, the exact bottom made in this leg was at 16,800, after which the markets gave a good move. However, we did expect the resistance to be at 17,200, which was broken, and the markets rallied up to levels of 17,400 and 17,500. However, the second half of Friday saw a sharp sell off of almost 300 points as the market fell from levels of 17,500 to 17,200 and closing just below 17,200. If we switch to a time frame with some moving averages, we can see that Nifty has closed below the 20 and 50-day moving average, and the crossover has already happened as the 20-day average is now just below the 50-day average, and Nifty is also taking resistance at the moving average, which is an extremely bearish sign for now, indicating that this downtrend could go on for a while. If we switch to an hourly time frame, we can see the same thing, that Nifty tried to break above the moving average and start an uptrend. However, before the crossover could happen between the blue line, which is the 20-day average, and the pink line, which is the 50-day average, Nifty reversed very sharply from 17,500 levels, falling up to 300 points and taking support at 17,200. If one takes a look at the option chain, we can see that there is heavy call selling at 17,400 and 17,500 levels, indicating that these levels are going to be the resistance for now. Looking at the number of puts sold, we can see that 17,300 and 17,200 do look like supports for now, but the same thing as last week is happening. The problem here is that the data is for the options which are on Friday, and these options have been in the market just for one day, and people have not had a chance to adjust their positions. We expect next week to be extremely bearish and a lot of call selling to take place again at 17,300 and 17,200, with the next support levels for Nifty being 17,000 and 16,900. Moving on to some important news for the week. As discussed in last week's videos, Bharti Airtel had hiked its prices, which is now being followed by Vodafone and Jio also hiking their tariffs. Jio hiked prepaid tariffs by 20% in the smartphone segment. This hike is supposed to restore Jio's tariff discount relative to Bharti, and it should keep its subscriber momentum intact. Now, because of this, since Jio is not a publicly traded stock and all good news about Jio is reflected in Reliance's price, Reliance has been given buy rating and Jio's valuation has been increased by 7 to 8%. However, the emergence of a new COVID variant could impact fuel demand, which could have some problem with the Reliance aspect. However, Jio is doing really well. The price target for Reliance has been revised to 2950 due to the factor of higher valuation of Jio. Moving on to the next important data of the week, the auto sales data. For the first time in history, Bajaj Auto has beaten Hero MotoCorp and became the top motorcycle brand in November. Bajaj Auto in November became the top selling motorcycle brand in India, combining both domestic and export numbers. The company registered a sale of 3,38,000 units, which is 12% down from its own sales performance in November 2020, where it sold 3,85,000 units. Hero MotoCorp, the long-standing pole position in this leader, sold only 329,000 units. This is probably because of a higher demand for high-end bikes, which is where Bajaj Auto specializes more than Hero MotoCorp. Other important auto data for the week is that Maruti Suzuki, the country's largest auto manufacturer, has announced to hike vehicle prices from January 2022. The country's largest car maker on Thursday said that it will increase price vehicles from January next year to offset the impact of the rise in input costs. As we all know, globally there is a shortage of semiconductors and the price of semiconductors has been skyrocketing. The price increase, they said, would vary from model to model, and the automaker said without sharing any specific details. The company said in the regulatory filing that over the past year, the cost of the company's vehicles continue to be adversely impacted due to increase in the various input costs. As discussed in last week's videos, inflation is becoming a trouble for all of the company's supply chains. It has become imperative for the company to pass on some impact of the additional cost to customers through a price hike. Otherwise, the company's bottom line will be absolutely destroyed. Even after Friday's sharp fall, some stocks had a pretty good week. Adani Ports and Special Economic Zone was up by 3% for the week. In the 8 months of final year 2022, Adani Ports and SEZZ portfolio of ports handled was at a cargo volume of 210 million metric tons, which is a 43% year over year growth. The Mundra port in Gujarat crossed 100 million metric tons during the 8 months period. Container volumes reached 5.5 million, which used to be 4.4 million last year. Dry cargo volume also surpassed 100 million metric tons, and the cargo value for November 2021 stood at 24.75 metric million tons, which was a 5% increase as compared to last year. Even though companies are struggling with their supply chain, the amount of volume which Adani Ports is handling is extremely good, and the stock is looking bullish for now. In other news, data released on Tuesday by the National Statistical Office showed that India's GDP grew at 8.4% in the second quarter as India moved towards its recovery from COVID-19 second wave. This is in line with most of analysts' estimates. Numbers show that this GDP grew largely in line with the estimates, including the RBI's estimation of 7.9% growth. The real gross value added grew 8.5%, while the nominal GDP grew 17.5%. While these numbers may look very impressive, the analysts point out that this is due to a lower base. A broad based year on year growth has been seen in Q2. Globally, most markets have been extremely bearish this week. The Chinese markets have had a very bad week, and so have the American stock markets. Some of the investors' favorite stocks, such as Facebook, have officially entered a bear market, falling more than 20% from their highs, and the Nasdaq index is down 7% for the month. On the 26th of November, the World Health Organization designated the variant named Omicron. WHO said that it is not yet clear whether Omicron is more transmissible or not. However, the number of people testing positive has risen significantly, but this variant does not seem to be very fatal. In other important global news, the US Fed chief has said that he thinks reducing the pace of the monthly bond buys, which was estimated to reduce at 15 billion per month, could have to be done much faster because inflation is becoming a problem for the global economy. On the data front, initial jobless claims in the US climbed by 28,000 to 222,000 for the week ended 27 November. This is bearish news. The US labor market seems to be tightening, and the jobless rate is once again flirting with the pre pandemic lows. The US employment growth slowed considerably in November amid job losses at retailers and in local government education. But the unemployment rate still did plunge to an all time low of 4.2%. However, the number of new jobs which were added was disappointing as only 210,000 jobs were added despite the expectations of the market adding more than 400,000 jobs, indicating that job growth is slowing down sharply. So guys, that's it for the week. Stay tuned every week for more updates about the stock market.